A security expert tells 8 on your side the city of Oldsmar dodged a bullet, and Colonial Pipeline wasn't so lucky.
As gas stations along the eastern seaboard ran dry, computer hackers forced the company to pay millions in ransom. Now, this expert, Stacy mentioned there, tells 8 on your side investigator Masa Saidi that Oldsmar was ripe for picking, and so are most cities and towns.
That's right. Scary stuff here. We're talking about criminals tried to poison the water supply for 15,000 people in Oldsmar. Like other municipalities in charge of critical infrastructure, I'm told Oldsmar was unprepared, in fact, incapable of keeping out even a basic low-level criminal. On February 5th, a criminal hacked into the water supply system in Oldsmar. In the following 3 to 5 minutes, the unknown perpetrator spiked the levels of lye, the main ingredient in drain cleaner. Fortunately, a plant worker noticed someone had taken over his computer, so the poisonous water never got close to families.
It is frightening that they can go in and change things.
I come to rely on people, our elected officials and municipalities to protect us.
The breach was alarming. Oldsmar's message: you are protected. According to Mayor Eric Seidel, this was a success story.
The protocols that we have in place, they work. That's the good news.
This was not a success story. This was a disaster averted.
Mark Montgomery is a senior advisor of a commission set up by Congress to study cybersecurity threats. Oldsmar, he says, was lax.
It was not practicing the kind of hygiene that's necessary to keep out even a basic criminal.
Montgomery says the first step in protecting our power, water, gas, and economy is to identify what hackers already know: water distribution systems, energy distribution systems, gas and fuel pipelines, waterways, ports, and terminals, and the entire healthcare industry make up critical infrastructure most at risk. How close are we to disaster?
We're in an increasingly vulnerable, dangerous period.
Roughly 85% of our critical infrastructure is owned by the private sector, meaning small businesses, counties, and municipalities must protect their own systems. Montgomery also points out much of our infrastructure is connected. Florida, he says, sinks or swims with the rest of the country.
Florida holds a lot of national critical infrastructure. It's fully integrated with the rest of the Southeast critical infrastructure.
What can we do to not just stop them, but to get them? It's unlikely law enforcement alone can solve this problem. The answer is building better defense. Montgomery says it's not rocket science, but it likely would have prevented the breach in Oldsmar. As a country, he says, we're not doing enough, and that could have disastrous consequences.
I'm very concerned about the economic security of the United States.
So Mark Montgomery says there's a dozen steps an organization can take to stop 99.5% of attacks. That information is going to be on our website in just a couple of minutes, available to instruct and guide businesses, cities, counties, everyone.
I think everybody's talking about this, especially after what's happened recently. But in regards to Oldsmar, has anything changed there? Are they still allowing remote access to their system?
So city officials aren't answering any questions, citing the ongoing search for the suspect or suspects here. Nationally, there is a bill on the Senate floor that allows for millions of dollars in cybersecurity for the water industry. And Keith, I'm told it is the very first bill of its kind. We don't know what's going to happen, so wait and see.
All right. Thank you, Masa. And if you have something you would like Masa to investigate, you can call the 8 on your side helpline. There's the number, 1-800-338-0808.